Hello and welcome to Full of Food. Potato croquettes are nice, but we thought we'd take ours to the next level by packing them with cheesy mashed potato and a speckle of fresh thyme. They are a great way to use up extra mashed potato, however in this video we've made them from scratch. So let's go on to those ingredients. I've got some potatoes here, just the ones I had left over, some stock, that's chicken stock, you could use any, some butter, some milk, salt and pepper, and then I've got some fresh thyme which really make these really delicious because you sprinkle it over the top, some nice cheese here, an egg, and I'm cheating and using ready-made breadcrumbs, but you could make them yourself, and good old Fry Light to spray them for the air fryer. We're going to make our mashed potatoes first, but if you've got leftover, just skip this point and get on to the croquette bit. So really simply, we're going to peel these ones up. These are just a couple of potatoes I had left in the fridge. I think they might have even been baking potatoes. It doesn't really matter what type of potato you use. So just chop them into lovely little cubes. I'm going to do them in my Ninja SmartLid, but you could just do this on the stove top. So I like to add stock when I'm cooking my potatoes because it adds an extra layer of flavour. So instead of just doing them in water, I've got some chicken stock here, but you could use vegetable stock, beef stock, whichever you fancy. So pop those potatoes into the SmartLid, and then we're just going to add a little bit of milk, make those extra creamy. We're also putting some butter in and our lovely stock. So we're going to cook this all together so that butter, milk, stock infuses into those potatoes. Good old bit of Cornish sea salt and some ground black pepper. Give it a good stir so all those ingredients combine. And then we're just going to, in the SmartLid, combi steam at 160 or 330 Fahrenheit for 14 minutes. Okay, once those potatoes are done, and like I said, you could use leftover mashed potato or you could even use them from the stovetop. We're just going to check that they're cooked through. And then we're just going to put them into this bowl. And we're just going to mash them. So you see that lovely liquor, that stock, that butter, that milk, we're just going to pour that off, and what that'll do is it will separate with the butter on top, and we're going to use that in our mashed potatoes. You can see the butter's on top there now. We're going to give them a mash, and we're just going to add that butter, that buttery stock, into the mashed potatoes until they get nice and creamy to make our croquettes. Okay. So obviously we're going to add some fresh thyme. So what we want to do is get that into the mash and then some nice cheese. So whatever cheese you've got left over, get as much as you can. This is quite strong cheese, so that will be enough to make these really cheesy. Give that a good stir, make sure everything's combined. A little bit more black pepper. And you can see there the creamy mash speckled with those lovely bits of fresh thyme, and all that cheese is now melted in. So now you want to grab your egg, pop it into a bowl, give it a good old whisk up, and then get your breadcrumbs, pop them onto a plate, season them again with some pepper and some sea salt, just to make sure there's as much flavour as possible in there, and then just grab about an ice cream scoop size, maybe a bit less, of your croquette, and give them a little shape into croquette sizes. What you want to make sure here is that your mashed potato isn't too wet, because if it's really wet, then as they cook they will expand a little bit. So mine were a tiny bit wet here, but you'll see they're okay at the end, but if you can make it a little bit drier, that'd be better. So grab your breadcrumbs, roll that croquette in, just make sure it's the right shape, and there we have these lovely cheesy thyme speckled mashed potato croquettes. Make sure you get all of those breadcrumbs all over. Make sure you get them on the ends as well. Okay, so after a while they're all done. I'm going to cook these in my dual air fryer. You could still do it in the SmartLid or you could do it in any air fryer. I just find this one a little bit easy to use because of the square size of the tins when I'm doing things like croquettes. So just position them in, pop your air fryer on, and you're going to air fry at 200°C or 390 Fahrenheit for 16 minutes. So there they are, look lovely and golden brown. And when they're done, we're just going to get them out, and you can see that lovely crusty outer part from the breadcrumbs. And then I like to put a really generous portion of that lovely cheese on top, a few more bits of fresh thyme, and there you have it, a really brilliant side. Cheesy, thyme speckled potato croquettes.